Hi, boys and girls. Today I'm going to start out with a song from my childhood way back when, which is now a big hit with the Boy Scouts. Crossing the highway late last night, shoulda looked left and shoulda looked right. Didn't see the SUV car. The skunk got squashed in. There you are, you got your dead skunk in the middle of the road. Dead skunk in the middle of the road. Dead skunk in the middle of the road, and it's stinking to high heaven. Okay, my little friend here, Lily Rose, the skunk, does not appreciate that song for some reason. But she wants to know why it is that skunks always wind up dead in the middle of the road. And we're going to be talking about that today. Yeah, Lily Rose, I'm going to be explaining to you why so many of your relatives wind up killed. And to do that, it's really helpful to talk about what a skunk has for lunch. Okay, a few things that we need to know about skunks before we talk about what they eat. First off, skunks are mammals, and we've got lots and lots and lots of mammals in Texas. Okay, if you look at this, all of these animals are Texas mammals. And all mammals have two things. What's growing on the deer here? And on the fox, the coyote, raccoon, and the skunk. They all have fur. All mammals have fur. Okay, another thing about mammals is the mommies all feed their babies milk from their bodies. Okay, so the skunk does that, and the ringtail does that, the jackrabbit does that, even bats do that. Yep, bats breastfeed. Okay, now then, mammals don't all eat the same kinds of things. And I think I'll just plop down here on the ground and talk about this. Okay, we have herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Herbivores eat things like vegetables and flowers and roots and berries and grain and nuts. They're vegetarian. Well, actually, they're vegan. Carnivores like meat. And that would be things like grubs and smaller little mammals like mice, beetles, and birds. And oh, I forgot to put a picture of a reptile on here, but they eat snakes and lizards too. Okay, omnivores eat everything. They like vegetables and flowers and roots and berries and grain and nuts, just like herbivores. And like carnivores, they like grubs and beetles and smaller mammals and birds and snakes and lizards, which I forgot to put on here. So, what are you? Are you a herbivore? Do you just eat fruits and vegetables and nuts? Are you a carnivore who only eats meat? Or are you an omnivore? Do you eat lots and lots and lots of things, meat and vegetables and nuts and fruit? Well, guess what? Lily Rose here. Skunks are omnivores. And I brought a couple of her friends, one of whom is a herbivore and one is a carnivore, and we're gonna have a lunch picnic. Oh, and who do we have here? Oh, this is Barbarella, the bobcat. Guess what Barbarella likes to eat? Can you tell us? Well, meat. Meow. Meat. So she is a carnivore. Okay. Let me get my guys set up here. Okay, and then, oh, here we have Earl the squirrel. And you know what squirrels eat. You think of squirrels eating nuts. Well, he eats some other things too, but he is a herbivore. Yes, Earl the squirrel. Occasionally he'll eat meat, but Earl the squirrel is mostly vegan. Okay, so here is Lily Rose's plate. Here is Barbarella's plate. And here is Earl the squirrel's plate. And guess what? We have lots of food here. And we're gonna figure out who's gonna eat what. Okay, we're gonna talk about healthy things to eat. And then we'll talk a little bit about unhealthy things to eat. Alrighty, we're going to start with grubs. Grubs are little kind of white insects that live under the dirt. And if you will notice, Lily Rose here has some nice claws for digging in the dirt. So, as an omnivore, is she going to eat grubs? They're insects, so I think so. Okay, what about Barbarella? Probably not her favorite food, but yeah, she's gonna eat grubs too. Earl? Heck no, he says. Okay, let's see if I can find something that Earl might like. You think Earl's gonna like the nut? Yeah. What about Barbarella? Nope, not her thing. But, hey, Lily Rose the skunk eats everything, so that's pretty cool. Okay. Eggs. Are eggs animals or are they plants? They're what little birdies come in, so, yep. Our carnivore and our omnivore are going to eat them, and same for what come out of eggs. The birdies. Okay, let's find some more stuff for poor Earl here. We've got grain and more grain. Oh, Lily Rose wants some of this stuff too. Okay, and yeah, Pearl's probably gonna like the corn too. Lily Rose is not a picky eater. Up, somebody dropped a hamburger patty. That one's definitely something for Barbarella. And then the little animals. Okay. Yes, Barbarella's gonna eat little bunnies. I'm not sure Lily Rose can, do that, but certainly little mice. Okay, and we've got some frogs here. And okay, here we go, Earl. Have a strawberry. Okay, so this is what all these guys eat. And you can find some of this stuff in the park. Okay, so let's get back specifically to talk about how Lily Rose and her relatives go about getting lunch. And a good way to start this is to talk about Lily Rose's childhood. Okay, before Lily Rose and her brothers and sisters were born, her mother made a cozy, soft bed of leaves and grasses for them in a secret underground burrow. After the babies were born, their eyes were not open, but the kits, you call a baby skunk a kit. Not kitten, but kit. Their eyes weren't open, but they could feel and smell and taste their mother's milk. They're mammals. Okay, so at night, Lily Rose's mother would leave the den to hunt for food. She'd prowl and scurry through the fields and forests and backyards. She'd sniff and dig. And you see, she'd dig up grubs, and maybe she'd find some frogs and maybe an egg peel on the ground. The corn. Somebody's garbage can. What else might have she found in the garbage? Potato chip? Yeah, she'd like that too. Okay. She gobbled down earthworms and maybe an apple. Do I have any fruit in here? Nope, I didn't bring any fruit. And an apple that fell from a tree, and a mouse, and seeds that spilled from the bird feeder. By the way, Lily Rose's father wasn't around. Male skunks do not help take care of their young. Okay, so did Lily Rose's mother just stay in the woods or in the park to find something to eat? Look at this. What's this? This looks like a nice house. And she's in somebody's backyard. There's a rope swing with a tire on it and the bird feeder. Okay, so skunks will kind of travel around to find food. Okay, that's one reason they get run over. They cross streets. Okay, when the kits, the baby skunks, kits, were about 5 weeks old, they ventured out at night. Mom was away hunting, so the kits explored and played. If they heard an animal around, they'd rush back to their den. And by the way, when skunks are 5 weeks old, guess what they're able to do? Which is probably why they start to go outside when they're 5 weeks old. Skunks don't have a lot to protect them, but if an animal gets sprayed by one once, they aren't approaching again. This is also why they aren't camouflaged. Okay, if you look at Barbarella here and Earl the squirrel, you know what? They kind of blend in with the ground and trees. Do skunks need to do that? No, skunks don't need to do that. If an animal sees one coming, they just go away. Okay, so, you may see this sometime. Each summer night, the skunk family leads a secret life. In the dark, they are almost never seen, and each summer night, the kits eagerly learn more. As they move along, Mom always leads the way, with her kits just behind. Skunks on parade. And guess where skunks like to parade to in people's yards? The dog food bowl. Skunks love dog food and cat food. So if you don't want to see a skunk parade in your backyard, and remember, all these guys can spray, please remember to bring in your dog food and cat food after your pets have eaten. Okay. And oh, you see there the deer are. They're watching the skunks. They know they're just going to stay out of the way. The skunks especially like rainy nights. Digging is easy in the wet soil. Also, on some nights, they find treasures, like a pile full of vegetables that somebody would have left out, and probably some fruit too. Okay. Moving right along. Uh-oh. Ambling along on a warm June night, the skunk family is startled by loud barking. A dog rushes towards them, then stops. The kits huddle by their mother. She faces the dog, raises her bushy tail, stomps her feet on the ground, hisses, and clicks her teeth. These are warning signs, but this dog clearly hasn't met skunks. Do you know what happens next? Whoops! Missed the page. Uh-oh. Mama skunk sprays the dog. Quickly, Mother skunk lowers her hind end and towards the dog and raises her tail and sprays a powerful dose of musk from her rear scent glands. The dog goes yelping away and never bothers another skunk as long as he lives, hopefully. The mother skunk defended her family well, but skunks seldom use their spray. Most big predators are warned away by the black and white. It's midsummer and the skunks leave the secret den and find safe places to sleep above ground. The kits have been weaned. They no longer nurse milk. Sometimes one or two young skunks will hunt together, and then they go off on their own. But you see, they live around people, which means that they are going to eat people food. Okay, so this is why it's important in the park to make sure and throw away your leftovers. I mean, do you think tacos are good for skunks? No. Hot dogs, those aren't even really good for people. Bread, probably the wrong kind of teeth. Okay, you get the idea here. Now then, what you're going to do with your grab bag activity, this is one where you're going to have your mother or your grandfather or your big brother help you out. You're going to go around the park and you're going to look for things that you think Lily Rose and her skunk family would like to eat. And you're going to have your mother or your grandfather or your big brother write down what they see. Or maybe you can take pictures of it. And then when you get home, you have here the lunch menu. And you're going to draw pictures of what you saw that you think a skunk would like for lunch. And you've got to draw the pictures. You can't write the words because I'll tell you a secret. Skunks don't know how to read. So it's got to be pictures. Also, an interesting question. What time do you eat lunch? 11 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock noon, maybe 1 if you're running late. What time does Lily Rose eat lunch? Does she eat at noon? Look at the book. Is that daytime when they're out there? No. Skunks are nocturnal. So you're going to be eating lunch at 12 o'clock noon. She's going to want lunch at 12 midnight. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let Lily Rose and Barbarella and Earl the squirrel finish their picnic, and we'll see you next month. Bye, guys.